Morning. I'm gonna pop on and see what is on my camera. Probably something sticky. Okay, let's see. Alrighty. Hi Amy, good morning. So I have my camera part over here and I usually put it over here, so I'm looking at the wrong spot. So I apologize if it looks like I'm not looking at you. I'm looking at the comments, which are usually where you are, but I put it on backwards today. So good morning everybody. Hope you're having a wonderful day today. Let's hope that this Wednesday's live goes a little bit better than last Wednesday's live with my botched up mountain card. However, I will say that I think I'm going to use that card for my blog hop tomorrow, which I still have to make the project for. You know, better late than never. So I just wanted to share with you. These are the card kits for the people who bought the April monthly kit. So I did post this on my blog today, so you're able to look on there and find it. And there's 3 options. I might only have 1 pack left, so it depends on how fast it goes. But I designed it's like a class to go. It's 4 cards. There are 4 different cards using 1 stamp set. So you can purchase the PDF and video bundle and you will get links. The videos are not anywhere else. They are private and you will get a link with the PDF and then at the bottom it has the video. So that's pretty cool. So these are some of mine that are ready to go. So excited. Amy, can you see anything there that looks familiar? Keep that a surprise. Also, real quick, I'm going to hop up on my chair here so you guys can see my shirt. Anybody remember these guys? My grandfather loved Tom and Jerry. Loved Tom and Jerry. I love Tom and Jerry too. So today when I was getting dressed, I was like, I'll wear this shirt. It's kind of fun, Tom and Jerry. One other thing to share with you guys, and happy birthday! Everybody say happy birthday. Today is Kathy's birthday. Happy birthday, Kathy. Hope you're having a great day. Hope it's sunny there in Ohio. We had some really cold temperatures overnight here in Maryland, so I actually had to, I have some ghosts planted in the yard. I had to trash bag my banana plants because I didn't want them to freeze in case it got too cold, so happy birthday. Hello from South Florida. Stacy, my banana trees would probably be much happier if they were living with you right now. So this is very boring graphic, right? Just add in color. So this is going to be the card kit for next month, or I should say for April. It's April to May. So you can purchase this. This is actually going to have some component. I don't know what. I don't know if it's spots, if it's paper, whatever it is, but some component of the brand new in colors, which are really cool. So we will find out next Wednesday, April 22nd. So if you are a demonstrator, you'll be able to preview the catalog in PDF form online next week. So that's so exciting. So 1 week from today, we'll get to see the new catalog. This is like the most exciting thing for me. And the new paper pumpkin is going to have the in colors plus purple posy. So I actually ordered 2. So it looks really fun. They have some brushes. Everything's obviously in black and white, but it's really cool the way they did it because then they're going to fill in the color. So that's really fun. So you can subscribe to that. Now, if you subscribe sooner than later, you have a better chance of getting the kit because as it gets closer to, what will it be? This is May 10th. They may run out. So if you want it, you should probably subscribe sooner. It's $22 shipped. It is the United States only offering. However, I think they're going to be coming out with something new for global demonstrators coming up soon. So that'll be kind of fun. Or global customers, I should say, and demonstrators. So that's kind of fun for everybody else that can't get Paper Pumpkin right now. And I think that's all I have. One other thing I wanted to share was this absolutely beautiful card that Cindy sent me as a thank you for her prize that she won. Isn't that such a beautiful card? It has so many layers. Cindy is very, very talented. Gorgeous card. So pretty. So it's got a lot of twine, little cutout here. That's a great idea to punch a tag and then cut something out. Very wonderful. So thank you, Cindy, for the thank you card. That's so kind of you. I have gotten thank you cards over the years when I've sent stuff out, but I've never thought to share them, but I thought it would be kind of nice to be able to do that. So what we're going to do today, I actually have 3 stamp sets that I got out because I thought you could kind of do this with something different, but we're going to focus on Very Versailles. However, you probably could also do this with Verdant Garden, and I might have made a card similar to this before, so I'm not really 100% sure. And then I thought another fun thing to do too would be able to use the waterfront stamp set, which coincidentally leads me to another funny story. I thought for sure that I ordered Snowfront because I had talked about it so much, and I actually, right before we started, was looking through my history, so I was like, why didn't I get the stamp set? Because I never ordered it. So I need to order the Snowfront stamp set. One other thing to note, so I'm just going to tell you this now so you know ahead of time. Let me grab the catalog. Have everything on the floor. So, April 24th, which I believe, let me click out of here real quick, is a Friday. Yes. April 24th, and I'm fairly confident in that. I thought I read it this morning. The retirement list comes out for this catalog and also for the big catalog. So, just one more FYI, if there's something that you really wanted that you've been waiting to order, you might want to get it sooner than later. They did refresh the clearance rack yesterday. I don't know if anybody shopped it. Sometimes I'll put it on there, but I kind of figure most of the time if it's that point, I'm not sure if people really like a lot of stuff out of the clearance rack or not. They did have some really good deals on some cute embellishments. But it's also going to tell you what's going to be gone from this catalog, kinda. So it's not really this so much as it is this. So it is while supplies last. But the other important thing, and I know I've said this so many times, and maybe you guys are getting tired of me, but I'm going to say it just once more for the people in the back who might not have heard, which could be me. So the 2018-2020 in colors will be retiring. So if you need a re-inker, paper, some sort of embellishment that matches because you have some classes coming up or something, make sure you order it sooner than later, because I'm telling you, once that list goes live, stuff sells out, like within minutes, which sounds kind of ridiculous, but remember, we've had this for a while, so. Okay, so good morning, everybody. Thank you. Oh, thanks, Denise. That's nice of you. I will tell you, I was having a little bit of a nervousness about going on today after last week's debacle, but again, in case you missed in the beginning, I am going to try my best. I haven't thought of it yet, but I'm thinking I have a blog hop tomorrow, so make sure you tune in. It does go off at 8 a.m., which you don't have to be there at 8 a.m., but that's when it goes live, with the Stampin' Friends, and it's a global group of stampers. So our theme is moms and flowers. Now, granted, mine might not have flowers, but I think I'm going to use what I used last week when I made the train wreck card. I think I'm somehow going to try to make it into that, because I know a lot of moms. I know quite a lot of moms that love going to the mountains. So my card, I think, and my project, because we always do one of each, one card, one project. I think it's going to be a little outside the normal what mom would want bubble. So anyway, without further delay, let me scoot this over. I'm going to flip you down. Good morning, Linda from Idaho. Hi, Cindy. I was just looking at your beautiful pictures. I don't know where that is. Is that Zion that you had pictures of on Facebook? But she was sending some gorgeous pictures this morning. So, so pretty. All right, so I'm going to flip you around. So if you do get a little sick right now, just don't look. I'm going to flip you. You can have a little peek out there this morning. There's a C-3PO in the background you may see. All right, let me pop you down here. Okay, so we are settled. Let me just close all this up so I don't make a mess. And I did not mail out the Ladybug bundle yet to, oh my goodness, I forgot her name, but we have communicated so she knows that it is coming. Did not mail that out yet. Yesterday, the Rainbow Stamper made my neighbor who turned 18, made her birthday card Made her a flower card. I thought that was very nice with the Timeless Tulip stamp set. I should have taken a picture of it, but he made a card, and I'll show you what he did. He made a card like this. I helped him with the base, but we put a piece of retired DSP on the front, and then for these 2 inside panels, he stamped the 3 different size tulips and put happy birthday on it, and then he filled in the top with blueberry bushel for the sky, and he drew some clouds. Isn't that the sweetest thing? So we are wishing her a happy 18th birthday yesterday. Plus I also have this stamp set to play with too, so lots of fun things. And also one other thing, I made a whole bunch, and I should look for this die. I made 25 thank you cards for a friend who ordered some thank you cards, and I used some retired DSP, and I just used one. I can't thank you enough, and I used this die here from the So Sentimental bundle. I think this is, and I was a little hesitant about getting this, I think this is one of my favorite new bundles. It's so versatile, the words are great, and the dies match it so well. I just absolutely love it. Okay, so I'm going to leave these 2 here. I'm going to put the rest of these on the side for now. And let's get to stamping. Now, here is my intention for this card. What I want to do is have a background. And I thought of this could be a couple different ways. I want to have a strip with some stamped images, a contrasting color, and then a background. So it's going to be pretty simple for design. But I also thought we could do one in not really black and white, but maybe shades of gray. What would you guys think about that? Because I don't think I've ever made a card that's a black and white card. Ever. So I'm going to try that. So I just have a regular piece of Whisper White. And instead of going black and white, I think I'm going to do gray. So I'm going to do a smoky slate base. So this will be for our first one, and then we'll do a color version. And then I'm going to do a piece of basic gray for the contrast part. So I'm not sure, really, I'm not going to say I'm not sure, but I'm not sure what this is going to look like. So I'm going to go ahead and score this. I am going to make this a vertical fold. So I'm going to go ahead and take my smoky slate, and I'm going to score this at 5.5. And I'm just going to tell you ahead of time, I need a new trimmer blade, so I'm going to just bring in my guillotine here and cut this so I don't have any frayed edges. I'm going to cut this at 4 1/4. So there's one, and then I'm going to go ahead and cut. The thing is always, do you go all the way top to bottom? I'm going to do top to bottom. So I'm going to cut this at 5.5. And then I'm going to trim it down to, let's see how big this one is first. Maybe that'll help. 2.5. That might be fine. So we'll do this one at 2 1/4 for now. And I'll see. We can always adjust. So you have 2 1/4. This one might be 2 1/4 as well. Yeah, so we can at least get 2 cards out of this. I'm going to go ahead and see. 5.5 for the rest of this. I'm going to do one at 2 just to see what it looks like. It might be too thin. And then we'll have this last piece. So for this first one, I have this. I think this, oops, this needs to be cut down just a smidge. Do the same thing with this. Now you could be very frugal with your cardstock here, and you could trim strips. But sometimes I find that me lining up my strips, they don't line up exactly how I think they're going to be. So I'm actually going to just use a piece and layer it together like that. So it's going to be kind of like this. And then somehow we're going to add a sentiment. So this is going to be what we're going to start with today. So I have that, and I had a scrap, so I'm just going to stamp on this. And then what I'm going to do is just use gray granite, which is the same base. We could always throw in a little smoky slate, but smoky slate has a little bit more of a blue feel to it. So I'm going to use gray granite and then maybe basic gray. So we'll see where this goes. I'm not really sure. what I'm going to do here, I do want to put the words because I think that'll be nice. And I do want to put the leafed image. So what we'll do is we'll do the words first. And we'll do the words kind of in the center but off center, and we'll do that in basic gray. So now you could also really kind of pop this up a notch. Let's see what this looks like. By adding maybe some champagne foil or silver foil, or maybe even the shimmer glimmer paper. I think it's called shimmer. I'm going to close this up. I'm going to try to keep the rest of it in the gray granite just so it's a little bit lighter. So I'm going to do the leaves. And let's see. These leaves, one thing about these, they do have a lot of detail on them. So with these stamps, even though this isn't really a background stamp, I tend to like to ink on them with the ink pad because I think it gives you better coverage. So we'll kind of put this here. And one down here maybe. All right, so that looks pretty nice. But I think there's probably a lot to be said, and I'm going to leave my gray granite open because we'll fill in the rest of the stuff. I think there's a lot to be said about doing a card in a very, let's say neutral, but kind of a black and white theme. So for something different, I'm actually going to do this one. I have this little, I guess it's like a filigree. I'm actually going to stamp this with the basic gray, but I'm going to stamp it off once first and kind of see. So you have like a different shade of the gray. And I don't really want to do too much. But one more thing I'm going to do. So that's going to kind of be it for now. And then we'll add our sentiment. While I have this out, I'm going to just take my basic gray. And instead of this, I'm going to do something bigger. Just to kind of bring them together. I'm just going to stamp this little round. Not round. It's like an ovalish image. I'm going to stamp this here. And I'm going to go with basic gray so it's nice and dark. And I'm just going to kind of stamp it around, not necessarily on in really like a pattern. I'm just kind of bringing in something. So let's see what this looks like. Just so it has a little bit of something. So I think that's good enough. So it's not really super easy to see because, again, you're only going to have those little bits. I think it's kind of neat. The other thing you could do if you wanted to, instead of doing that, is you could sponge the edges of this piece. So let's see what this looks like. So I'm going to kind of put this here in the center. Like so. Put this on. I am going to, just for the sake of having a little bit of wiggle room, I am going to use liquid glue. So what we'll do is we're going to put this on. Actually, let's take a look at this before we put this together because it's a very simple card. You can always even add, let me just fold this so I can line it up a little better. I was having some issues with lining up my paper yesterday straight when I was making those thank you cards, and I realized it was because I had it open all the way and I really wasn't doing my best. So you could even put, and we are going to probably have to trim this off just a little bit. You could even put maybe like a little piece of, we could pop this up on a dimensional. You could put a little piece of ribbon underneath or running. Yeah, we're going to definitely have to trim this just a smidge. Running on the edge. Like the silver, if you wanted something. Now, granted, if we did this, what I probably would do is add another layer to it. So maybe add a gray granite layer underneath of this. That way I'd have something to wrap it around. But this could be even kind of pretty, just like that. So if you did this, obviously you would want something to wrap it with. So maybe, let's try that before. So we're going to just take one more little detour here. You trim this down. Because you know, goes to show you, once again, I can't leave well enough alone. So we'll trim this to 5 1/4. Oops. By 4. So what is everyone looking forward to in the new catalog? Is there something specific? And then with this one, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the words one more time. But I'm going to do them really, really light. Just so there's just barely something there. I am hoping for some other types of inks. Now, I don't know if that sounds like something that's a little bit too much of a dream to ask for. But I think it'd be pretty cool if we had some other types of inks. Some other ink products would be great. Like some other ways to be able to use our inks would be super fun. I'm certainly hoping they don't come out with any of those blending brushes now that I just ordered them off of Amazon. But, you know, whatever. No flops so far. Diana, let's not get ahead of ourselves. You just never know where it could go. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to end up wrapping this around the back. So here's our plan. So what we're going to do is, now we're going to have to trim this down because you know why? I made it a little shorter, which is fine. So let's go ahead and take this down to 5 1/4. So if you were going to, I'm going to trim this side. If you were going to just use your front piece, you could leave it at 5 1/2. But since we're cutting this down, I'm going to take this down to 5 1/4. So if you were going to do a plain one, you could leave these full length. So we're going to go like this. Let's say, put him in the background. Put this here. Him on top. Okay, so that looks pretty cool so far. Now, granted, I probably should have gone over a little bit more, which I didn't realize. So let me bring this in one more time. Because I forgot we have that whole gap on this side. Now what I'm going to do is I'm ink this up. I'm going to stamp the whole thing off, and then I'm going to try my best to kind of line it up in here a little bit. Just so there's like a little bit of something. It doesn't need to be dark necessarily. All right. So we're going to trim off a piece of ribbon. I'm going to put a little bit of fast fuse. Kind of wrap it around. You don't want it to pull, so you don't want it to make your cardstock bow. So kind of go with just like that for now. This piece we're going to stick down. I'm going to just use liquid glue. Did you guys watch the video with the rainbow stamper on YouTube when I said he made his entire card all by himself? I don't know if anybody did or didn't catch that, but that is the reason why I don't have very much glue left in my Tombow container here, because he thought you really needed a lot of glue. So he was like, and I was not watching him because I was doing something else. And I said, oh, you can make the card by yourself. And I saw the amount of glue in there and I thought, holy Lord, I need to order some Tombow because that just ran that sucker right out. But it was funny. At least he's enjoying making the cards, right? So it's nice because if you put the liquid glue, you can kind of put it so it's centered really nicely. So there's that. Looks pretty. Very pretty. Now, if you wanted to, you could even pop this up on some dimensionals. That'd be another fun thing to do. But I'm going to just glue this down. We're going to go flat for this one. Which, if you know me, you know is hard because I'm not one that likes to make things one-dimensional. We'll put this on. Actually, let me see. That looks pretty good. There's a teeny bit hanging over, but not enough to worry about. So, here's this. Let's see, we'll get this straightened up, which is, again, the nice part about the liquid glue, because if you don't like it, you can kind of move it around a little bit. So there's that. So now I feel like we definitely need a sentiment, and the sentiment we're going to pop up. So how about we'll do... I wonder what this will look like. On just a little strip. Bigger, smaller. We could also do thank you. We could just do a really simple circle to kind of round out our rectangles. So I'm looking for opinions. We could absolutely put this on a strip, a white strip. We could trim it down a little bit. Probably wouldn't want to lay it on top of this because that would defeat the purpose of putting that down. But Kind of funny too, if you look at this, that the white almost takes on that gray shade. Or we could do a little very simple circle. We could stamp this on a small stitch circle, the thank you, and put that on there. So which one do you guys think? It is an elegant card, Amy. I know, I'm impressed with myself considering what I did last week. Oh my goodness. I'm just going to look here and see. Hi, Anka. Hope you're doing well. Oh, wow, Donna. That is absolutely hilarious. Small circle. All right. Thanks, Diana. Let me move my chair. I have to grab my circles. Tell you a funny story. Speaking of that with the MaxiPad thing. My younger brother, when I was little, he was upstairs playing in the bathroom. We lived in a really, really big old house. And he was upstairs playing. And, you know, it's kind of like when kids are playing, you don't really think anything until you can't find where they are or what they're doing. So I'm just going to use this little scrap here. And I think I'm going to go with black. That way we have like a really vivid black compared to the gray. You probably could also, if you wanted to, add in a color. But I'm going to stick with keeping it classic. So went outside and was walking up the street, and I realized that my brother threw all of the MaxiPads out the bathroom window. Don't know why. I guess he thought it was fun. All I was thinking was praying so thankfully that none of them stuck to the side of the house, because could you imagine, because we had a really, really tall house. Oh my gosh. And of course I was a teenager, so I was completely mortified. All right, so we're going to do thank you here in the circle. Bring this, oops, hold on, that moved a little bit. There we go. Do that. Alrighty. So we have our little stitched thank you, just like that. You could always even add another layer behind if you want to use the stitch circles, but I don't want to make this take too long, because we all know I can get carried away very quickly. So I'm going to just pop this up on, I'm going to put 2 dimensionals. It's not huge, but just for the heck of it, we'll put 2. And again, so you could add like a black layer, a gray layer. You could add the basic gray layer. I think it's a really, I don't want to touch it too much. I feel like it's still just a little wet. Really simple card. Very simple thank you card. So there's one card that's pretty easy, right? So now we can change this by going with a more complicated or colorful version. So for the next one, I know some people did say about the thinking of you. So we'll use that one on our second card. So we're going to do the same thing, except we're going to pick some colors. So what I'm going to do, and I did make a card not that long ago that was beautiful in both of these colors. So I'm going to do Blueberry Bushel and Grapefruit Grove. So what we're going to do is our grapefruit will be our background color. So our base is going to be grapefruit. And then we're going to have our little strip be Blueberry Bushel. So let's cut, oop, this one's a fun. Let me get a different one. That one's already a base. I feel terrible cutting it in half. We'll use that and that. Okay, so let's see. I want to go with, we'll go with 5.5 for this one, because we might make this one full length instead. So 5.5 by 2.5. We already have our white piece. Just put these on the side in case I change my mind. And let me make sure this is nice and clean. All right, and let me grab these 2 colors. So Grapefruit Grove, Blueberry Bushel. So we're going to just kind of make sure I picked the correct one. We're just going to kind of mimic what we just did, but this time we're going to add color. Okay, so we'll start with the grapefruit, only because it's a teeny bit lighter. What in the world? Oh, here it is. I'm like, what did I do with my little scrap piece of paper? So we'll put this here. And this one, man, did I do this one? This one must be the thinner piece. Let me see. Nope, that's too big. Yeah, we're going to go with this one. This is the one that's 2 1/4. So I'm going to do this one. So I'll do the kind of the same thing. We'll add our scripty words. We'll just kind of change the direction and the sides of this one. Change it up just a little bit. So we have our words. I'm going to leave that out because I might do something else for that one. And then we will swap out the words for the leaves. Now, because this blueberry bushel is a really, really dark ink, I am probably going to stamp it off first. So I'm going to ink up the blueberry bushel. And this one looks like it has enough ink. Let's see. 2. So there's that. Now we're going to need to bring in something a little darker. Now I personally think that the Grapefruit Grove and the terracotta are very, very, what's the word I want to use? I want to say similar, but they're very complementary in their tones. So I'm just going to use the stamp cleaning pad because I know this is a little bit yucky. With that blue. Again, if you haven't gotten that stamp cleaning pad or used it, it's really, really good too if you have old stamps. It kind of almost seems to condition them, which I know sounds a little crazy, but I don't really know what's in it. Okay, so got that cleaned off. Now we have this. I'm going to bring in, just to show you, a terracotta tile, and we're going to do the ring. I don't really know what this is called. Some sort of a filigree. I'm going to see what this looks like. Dark and off. See, both way actually looks nice. So I'm going to do the dark here. And then we'll kind of bring the off. Looks good. All right, so we have that, which is going to go on here, which is going to go on here. So I feel like we could add something else. Now for something different for this one, what I'm going to do, I'm going to kind of do it similarly to what I did before, but a little bit different. I'm going to add a layer of vellum, but just to kind of make this soft, I'm going to stamp something on the back here. And I'm not going to do it in the terracotta. I'm going to stick with the grapefruit. But let me see. I'm going to do the leaves. So we're going to do the leaves kind of in an all over pattern. And we'll kind of just stamp the whole thing in a couple different spots. So I'll do one full ink, stamped off 3 times. We'll fill this one again. We'll bring one from the bottom. Okay, so I think that's probably enough. All right, move this out of the way. Let me hit this with my bone folder. Okay, so let me grab my vellum. So one thing about vellum that can sometimes make it a little bit tricky to work with is that you can't really hide the glue very easily. But you can if you put it in the right spot. So we're going to make this. I'm not going to make it, I'm wondering if I should do full panel or bring it in a little bit. I'm going to bring it in. So we're going to make this 5 1/4 by 4. Hopefully this is going to turn out the way I have it envisioned in my brain. Okay, so this is going to kind of lay over top here. And then what we're going to do is we're going to put the glue, the main component of the glue here. So it's going to kind of almost seem like it's floating behind, but it's not really going to be floating behind because we'll put it behind this piece here. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and put this together first. Now, if you wanted to, you could add ribbon, but you would really have a difficult time hiding it with the vellum. So I'm going to leave the fact that we've added the vellum be like the special part to this. Okay, so if we're going to put this here, we're going to line that up like so. I'm just kind of trying to eyeball where we want our glue. So really in the center here. So I'm going to pull this off and I'm going to take some glue. Okay. And then now you do have to have a messy finger here. I'm going to spread the glue around so it's not too goopy. And you're going to take your vellum and line it up kind of where you want it. And then just press. So it's really only going to stick on this little section here that has glue. So you can see it underneath of there with that. However, we're going to cover it up with this. So be like a little bit nice thing. And then on the edge, it's still going to kind of flap. And they'll be like, wow. It's like an optical illusion how she got that to stay there. Purely static cling. Don't worry, the jokes in this show are free. Okay, so we'll line this up just like so. So it covers your glue portion. So you have that. You have your little layer underneath that's really, you know, they could lift that a little bit and see it's very pretty. You have this piece covered. So then we're going to somehow add this always thinking of you. Now, personally, I think we should do this in the blueberry. But also, just for a bit of dramatic effect, let's emboss it. So I'm going to grab my clear embossing powder and my little coffee filter. I need my embossing buddy and I need my Versamark. And you all know we don't have blueberry bushel embossing powder, but we do have clear. And if you have clear, you can pretty much make it into anything. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stamp this and then I'm just going to fussy cut it. If I can find a little scrap piece of white here that's big enough, I'm just going to fussy cut it out. And we'll kind of stick it on there like that. So I'm going to take my embossing buddy, just hit it over here. I'm going to turn on my heat tool in the meantime, so move it over so it's not too loud. Sorry about that. So what you're going to do is open your embossing powder so you have it ready. Grab a block. That fits for the most part. This fits. There we go. Okay, so what you're going to do is you're going to stamp it first in the Versamark. So stamp in the Versamark, which makes it tacky. Then stamp in the blueberry bushel ink. Then stamp your paper. Lift it up. And sprinkle with embossing powder. And then just tap off the excess. So the Versamark kind of makes the regular dye ink into more of a pigment style ink because it makes it tacky longer. So it basically just makes it tacky long enough that the embossing powder can stick to it. So then we're just going to heat this until it becomes shiny. So if you start your heat tool ahead of time, it melts really, really quick. Just be careful of your fingers because hot embossing powder burns. And it sticks to your hands. So there you go. So now we have this nice embossed image. I don't know if you can see. There you go. You can see the reflection. So I'm going to give this just a second. I know these two colors are so cool, aren't they? I agree, Cheryl. They're, one day I was doing something, fooling around with colors, and I was trying to think of something else to use. And I put those two together, and I was like, well, that's genius. But the thing is, you got to remember, both of these colors are retiring soon. So if you want them, that was totally unintentional. But if you want them, you have to get them soon. So I'm just going to take this and trim kind of fussy cut style. So I'm going to just go in. Doesn't have to be perfect, but... And you could also do this on a little, just a rectangle strip if you wanted to. You don't have to fussy cut it, but I don't know. Personally, I kind of like fussy cutting. It's relaxing for me. Some people may not feel the same. And that's okay. I will say one thing. I did get an awful lot of really nice comments about the card disaster last week. So thank you guys very much for that. You all are very, very, very kind. And sometimes that really helps when you think you made a dud. And like I said before, I've often said, oh, what did I even? I should just turn off the video and not make any more videos. I'm going to just lightly sponge this. Just kind of bring that grapefruit back in. I'm not really getting all of the spots, just super duper light. But always helps to know that you know, everybody makes mistakes. It's true. And again, we have that motto here. I make this mistake so you don't have to. I'm going to get this in just a little bit. I'm not exactly super happy with my Y's. There we go. Okay, so that, and I'm going to, just because we don't have anything else popped up here, is I'm going to put these on, I'm going to put mini dimensionals on the back. And one other word of advice, word to the wise, whatever it is you want to take it, when you're using white cardstock, especially the thin cardstock, make sure you don't use the black dimensionals. I made that mistake too once, and you can completely see them. And it looks like you used some dirty old cardstock because you ran out of your best stuff. It's not a good look. So if you're using the thicker white cardstock, so the thick Whisper white cardstock is okay. But if you're using the regular white cardstock, it's super thin, and you will see it just looks like dirty marks underneath. It's not pretty. All right, so we're going to bring this. Let me just take all these little backings off. I got out yesterday my old tube of Crystal Effects. Actually, I should show you guys what I did with it because I was going to use it for one of the thank you cards and I totally forgot. We'll put this on here. Let's see. I think it kind of looks nice up here because there's this little space, white space. Just press that down. That looks really cute. So another fun card. And again, this one we added a little bit of vellum to instead of what we did the first time. But let me show you if it's dry. Now that I think of it, I said something on top of it. That wasn't the smartest. But I got out my old... So I made this, and I was intending on potentially using this for one of the thank you cards that I made for my friend because she was sending some thank yous to teachers. And I got out my blends because I originally colored this with markers and I kind of went over it, and then I added some Crystal Effects, which if you guys remember this jar, this is obviously super old, but it's really, really hard to get it to come out the top anymore. As a matter of fact, mine has resealed back up, so I had to do some doctoring with my paper piercing tool to get it out, but I don't know if this is something that's just so cute or just so much because there's so many different patterns on there. So this one might still end up in the recycle bin. You never know. Okay, so that is 2. Let's see, what time are we? We're 10:15. Let's just make one more just for the heck of it. Anybody have a color suggestion that they would like to see used? Because I'm happy to take for the final one a color combo. You have to pick 2 colors, so we kind of have to be on the page of if you're going to pick 2. That way we have 2 contrasting colors. And in the meantime, I'm going to just wipe this off real quick. I just stuck my thumb in it. That wasn't good. Don't recycle the beauty. I know the balloons are about the only thing that are cute. Everything else on there is just totally clashing. But I think if I was a teacher, that's probably how I would dress. Nothing I would wear would match. And they'd be like, oh, Miss Rachel, what are we going to do with you? And the balloons with the Crystal Effects do look cute. Yeah. All right. Shades of purple. Well, purple would be nice. That is true. That's a good one. My only thing is, do you think if we did it just in purple, Coastal Cabana and Bermuda Bay, ooh, that would be nice. Oh, Crystal Effects on the umbrellas. That's a good one. Coastal Cabana and gray. Oh, okay. Janet, you won. I got navy and Coastal Cabana. I will go back and look at the other colors. I do promise, because, you know, I always need ideas for stuff. So we'll do one with these two. So navy and Coastal Cabana. All right. So let me see where those other pieces are. Can use, one of these is smaller than the other one, so I have to figure out which one. You know, I'm sure Janet said, if I mention Rachel's favorite color, how would she possibly resist, right? So, very true on that. I'm going to go with a navy base, and then we'll do the Coastal Cabana as the strip. So, let's see. Have our navy base. I do like the ideas of purples, though, because I do love purple. And my grandmother's favorite color, my one grandmother's favorite color was lilac. She loved that. So anytime I think of any color with that, it always reminds me of her. So let us see. I'm going to do this with, I think I'm going to do it again with the double layer. So we'll do one. We did the base color. I don't know how that would look. All right, let me go back to here where I was thinking. 2.5. We'll do 5.5. Let's see what this looks like. 2.5, 5.5. And then we have, what was this piece? This one I think we needed, yeah, because this other one is a little bit skinny. Although it would give us bigger border. So we could use that. We'll use that one. All right, so let us see what we can do with this one. I think I'm going to do the leaf pattern in navy and then the words in Coastal Cabana. So I'm going to do the leaves as the primary point this time instead of the words. And my navy really needs to be re-inked. Okay, so there's that. And put that here. And then we'll add the words on here, and we'll do this with the Coastal Cabana. And do this one at the top and the bottom. So kind of the opposite. Looks good so far. And then we'll add in the little strip. Let's see. Now for this one, which way did I go? We did this one as a vertical. So I'm going to switch this one. We'll do this one as a horizontal. Let's see. Kind of just making a little bit of a pattern, but I am stamping off first because I don't want it to be too dark. Let's see if I can keep that up. Let me go one more. Okay, we'll go with that. I don't want to do too much. And then we have to figure out what we're going to do. Now we do have one other sentiment in here that will kind of work. It says something about a beautiful day, so that might be really pretty. And this one will leave the background plain for that one. So obviously you're going to have to put a white panel on here. And what up? Is this one not 5.5? No, it is. It's just under, so I'm going to have to trim these up just a little bit. This must have been one where I was cutting while I was half asleep. Okay. Oh, goodness gracious. Man, I still have to trim this down. That's okay. We'll get it. No worries. Maybe this one we can add a little bit of that braided linen trim, but instead of like putting it behind an entire piece. Yeah. Oh, what I was thinking for this. Look how much is sticking out there. That's okay though. instead of, oops, hold on, this is crooked. Instead of tying a piece under, we'll get it fit another way. All right, so grab my scissors, cut this off. Oops. Okay. All right, like that. And we're going to use the Have a Beautiful Day. If I can get it off, because that's a really nice one. And we could do this one. We'll do this one as a circle as well, because it's going to fit really nicely. But we're going to put a little bit of something underneath of it. So let me grab another scrap that hopefully will fit this little piece here. And I don't know. I think we should probably do it in navy for the greeting, because I think the Coastal Cabana would be just a little too bright. Let's see. Hopefully I stamped this in a spot where it's going to fit. Yep. Okay. We'll go with that. All right. Let me trim this out real quick. Okay, there's that, and let us, where is it? This, I love this. It's such a pretty ribbon. I don't really know exactly how we're going to put this on here, but we're going to put some on here. So I'm going to snip off a piece. Might be too big, but let's see. Hopefully this won't go anywhere for a while, because I love this ribbon. I'm going to kind of fray the ends a little bit. Just kind of opening it up, opening up the ends. Oops, I forgot I didn't put that on there yet. I'll just put this behind just like that. So just a little bit of glue. I'm going to stick that and spread it. Okay. Looks good. All right, let me glue this one down. Other thing, I'm really hoping we get some really nice, not like a military, I hate to say that, but like first responder, Army, Navy, Air Force, Marine, patriotic kind of thing, because I know we all love that kind of stuff. And I know that's very specific probably to the United States more so than anywhere, but it's really, really nice to be able to have those when you need them. And good gravy. I lost, oh, here they are. I was going to say I lost my big dimensionals. All right, so I'm going to put 2 here. 1 and 2. All right. Now, if it bothers you, this hangs off the end. You could either trim it, you could move it over a little bit. There you go. But it's cute. And then you could even take the scripty part on the inside and stamp a white panel and add just a little bit maybe to the corner. But just using this one, so we didn't even get out the other ones, which is perfectly fine. We have 3, come on, beautiful cards. So one that's very, very unlike me. Very neutral, black and white. And then we have the 2 color contrasts, which I think look really, really pretty. And I did so much better than last week. So that is definitely a win in my opinion. I hope you guys enjoyed making these with me. And I also hope you enjoy the interactiveness that I do my very best to try to bring to you guys. So it's like you are making a card with me, which is why I do Facebook Lives, because they're more fun than just making cards by yourself. Because believe me, when I'm sitting up here talking to myself, people are always asking me, are you okay? Who are you talking to? And I always say myself, but I never answer myself. I usually just let myself guess what it is I'm going to say. But this again uses the very Versailles stamp set. We used all the images from here. As a matter of fact, we used every single one. So that's really cool. Very simple. A little bit of vellum here, a little ribbon on these two. Kind of make them, change them up, make them look a little bit different. I hope you guys enjoyed this. Thank you very much for staying along with me today and for coming back after last week, which is probably funny. But again, I will have my April, so I'm probably going to have to wait a little bit to do what I'm going to decide for May, because I want to find out if the stamp set I'm going to use for the class to go in May is going to be in stock, because I don't want to say to order it and then it ends up not being. So we're going to have to figure out what we're going to do for that. I'm going to wait till the retirement list comes out, but these colors are going to retire. So Blueberry Bushel and Grapefruit Grove. Then we also have Night of Navy and Coastal Cabana, which is my favorite color. And then we use Basic Gray and Smoky Slate for this one. So I think they all turned out really pretty. Very simple cards. I mean, you could even go through so much when you're doing this on a paper. And you could have a bigger strip. So this is 5 1/4. This one we did trim down, but this is 5 1/2, give or take-ish. And you could stamp 5 1/2 piece of paper all the way along and then just trim it out to 2 1/4 inch strips, back it on a piece of paper. You could pick like a very neutral card, and you could do a whole bunch of these at once, because you could have the whole background, like make your own DSP, and then cut them and then just layer them on stuff. So this would be a really great way if you need to do some cards in an assembly line fashion and be able to get a bunch of things done. Again, you could stick with the neutral. You could put some foil or some glimmer paper behind here if you wanted to jazz it up a little bit more, but I think they're very pretty cards. So thank you guys once again so very much for joining me. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. I do have a blog hop again coming up tomorrow. You can follow along with that at rachthestamper.com. If you're watching this after the fact, so I usually say this at the end, and you are watching on YouTube. Oh, are you okay? Geez, that sounded like a calamity. If you're watching on YouTube, if you don't see the little button up here that says live in red, then it's not live. You're watching the replay. But you can always leave me a comment. I am happy to answer any questions. You can find me at rachthestamper@gmail.com. If you guys have anything you'd like to get, I would love for you to shop in my online store, rachthestamper.stampinup.net. Thank you guys so very much for watching, and I'll see you again real soon.